Hello, thanks for checking out my Las Vegas casino LEGO MOC. This was inspired by the LEGO Trevi Fountain set released in 2025, a trip I took with my family to Italy in 2023, a restaurant in my hometown of Buffalo, New York, and Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. In order to make this happen, I need to shout out Bricks and Minifigures in Powell, Ohio, Bedlam Bricks, which just closed in Lewis Center, Ohio, the LEGO stores in Easton Town Center in Columbus, and Bricklink and Lego.com. Thank you for checking out this video. Please like and subscribe. And let's get to the build, the VENI VIDI Vegas. The casino, as you see, is built almost entirely of white bricks and pearl gold elements. It's 5 stories and includes a working elevator. Of course, we have a limousine dropping off our guests. All of the architecture is inspired by the aforementioned inspirations, casinos, restaurants, LEGO builds, etc. Let's take a look inside for a bit. Each floor has overhead lighting and the ceilings are finished off. So the first floor here is entirely made up of slot machines, different types of slot machines. The flooring, you'll notice, is a pattern which I got from a third-party seller. It was cheaper than trying to fill the floor with LEGO printed tiles. This is the cash room for the cashiers to exchange chips for money and vice versa. There is a safe, and off of that room is a little Easter egg. Now, if you're familiar with the movie Casino by Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro, Sharon Stone, Joe Pesci, and others, there is a scene in which a cheating gambler is taken to a back room and his head is stuffed into a vice. That's one of multiple scenes involving cheating gamblers. So I added that as a little homage to one of the best movies about casinos and gambling. And as you can see, on the back is the elevator that goes through each floor. Each floor is removable and can be separated easily so I can make changes and updates to each level. Here's an overhead shot of the first floor with the other floors removed. As you can see, there is a fountain in the middle of the floor, as well as additional non-LEGO tiles, creating a mosaic as minifigures enter. Most of what's used in here is official LEGO, but for a few design choices, I went with a couple of non-LEGO elements. I've also stuck some minifigures that maybe you wouldn't normally find in a casino in a number of spots. As we just went over some of the slot machines, there are Star Trek minifigures, and I'm very excited about the upcoming Star Trek LEGO build that's going to be officially released later in 2025. And then there's a fountain with people tossing coins in, as one does for luck. And there's about 5 different types of slot machines throughout the casino. These are your lower end casino slot machines. Your nickels, your dimes, your quarters. Now let's go to the second floor. This is where the lit up VENI VIDI Vegas sign is located. These are supposed to be water fountains spraying up in a display along the second floor. And then this floor is almost entirely table games. So right here we have a poker table with some unexpected special guests that you might recognize from movies and television. And then there are some high roller slot machines here, currently occupied by several classic space minifigs. And then of course there's a bar. I used some non-Lego elements on the bar wall just to give it some more flair. And on the other side, you can see a roulette table. You can see the design in the walls, the overhead chandeliers. There's a stained glass window there. Got several table games of different types being played throughout the floor. And then this is a blackjack table. You'll notice that Batman is at the table. He has only one chip, whereas everyone else is doing much better, much bigger stacks, and Batman's not happy about that. And this is a look at the back of the second floor. Here's an overhead. As you can see, the entire floor is done in pearl gold. Wanted to make it look as high roller as possible on this floor. As you can see, there are tiles with playing cards and chips on all of the tables. Not all official Lego elements, but I'm sure you know that. And everyone working in the casino is wearing a tie. Now, the people behind the bar are dressed a little more casually, but everybody working at a table game or in the cashier's room, they're all wearing black with bow ties. And then these are the high roller slot machines. Now, just over that, along the wall, is a mural that says "In Boca a Lupa," which literally translates "into the wolf's mouth." A common response is "Crepe il lupo," which means "may the wolf die." It's an Italian phrase for good luck. One last look at our superhero and villain table. There are villains throughout, and there are, again, in homage to Casino and other casino and gambling based movies, there are some mob members that are sprinkled throughout the build. I'll point them out on occasion. Let's go from the first floor to the second floor. If you've been to Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, you know about the aquarium. I had to have an aquarium in this casino to lure in the gamblers. So on the third floor, it starts to get away from the gaming and into the entertainment. So we have a very large aquarium with sharks and other sea creatures. There are statues. You'll notice Loki headpiece used in part of this. But any pearl gold piece I could find was pretty much going into this build. As you can see along the side, there are lights in the ceiling like there are on each floor, and those are causing some of the neon elements to glow. Beyond that, on this floor, you'll see the large obstruction there. That is actually the sports book. If you're not familiar, a sports book is where you gamble on sports, football, horse racing, tennis, whatever. So I included a sports book on this floor along with, and we'll get to it in a moment, a small cafe. There's a chandelier in the ceiling, different from the chandelier on the floor below. This is a different angle from the outside of the aquarium. And then over here you can see, this isn't the main eating area that's on the floor up, but we need a little casino, just a cafe, someplace you can get a cup of coffee or tea and grab yourself a pastry. And then of course we've got another level for the elevator. From the overhead angle, you can see with more detail what's going on in the aquarium. We've got several large fish, a couple of sharks, an octopus, several small fish swimming through. There's a crab. Other things, when we go through it a little bit closer later, you'll be able to see. Here's more of the sports book. As you can see, the floor is all Ignatz, white and gold, keeping the theme of white and gold throughout. I did make the sports book wall there. Obviously, Lego doesn't make a Lego sports book, so I did print out one and tape it to a Lego brick. Here you got all the folks who are gambling, one not doing so well. And a closer look at the cafe. You can see the pastries in the display there, as well as the coffee machine. And then back to the aquarium with a little closer detail. You can see the seashells. Variety of 3-point leaves were used, and flowers. There's a pirate skeleton coming out of a treasure chest. All sorts of plant elements were used in order to create the aquarium seabed, as well as numerous neon pieces that would glow underneath the lights. One last look at the interior as we move on from level 2 up to level 3. And this level is our buffet, because of course a Las Vegas casino has to have some place to eat. The exterior, again, every pearl gold piece I could utilize. There's Ninjago round tiles. And then this mirrored piece, which I found at Bricks and Minifigs. I believe it's from a Frozen set. Adorns the front of this floor. This is the all-you-can-eat buffet. It features a main area where you get your fruits and vegetables, your meats, your drinks, that sort of stuff. And then in this area here, which you're seeing, there is a dessert table with a fountain. And then there is also a cheese table for your Italian inspired cheeses. Now you'll notice at the top there is a half circle trans blue piece coming down. I'll get to that later. But this is the kitchen. You can see the various things you need in a kitchen: oven, knife rack, pots and pans. And each of the exteriors was built separately, so there is always a unique design to each floor. The columns are different, the way they're arranged, the way they are built was independent each time. And the ceilings are also different each time, just to create some unique differences on each level. From the overhead view, you get a better shot of the pattern on the floor of the gold and white tiles. Back into the kitchen area, you can see the stovetop, various pans that are hanging down for use, a sink. We've got the area where people are eating, both in the red booths, and then there are small tables along where people are getting their food. A lot of the dessert elements are actual Lego. There are a few things that are stickers that are not official Lego. And that sign that is saying, "Enjoy your food," in Italian, that's actually from a Joann's Fabric store. Rest in peace, Joann's Fabrics. More of the buffet line: fruits, vegetables, pizza, popcorn, hot dogs, hamburgers, lemonade, and red punch. Next to that, you have cereal. Now, of course, I said there are some mob characters. This one has a knife behind his back, and this particular member of the kitchen staff has been found to be skimming a few dollars, so the employee has to be dealt with by a member of the family that runs this particular casino. And we'll get to more of them in a moment when we get to the final level of the casino. As we move on from level 3 and head up to the top level, number 4. This was a suggestion by my wife. She said, "You need a rooftop pool." And so I made a rooftop pool. There's quite a bit going on here, so let me explain everything. Over here you've got a little putting green where, well, you might recognize that character from a movie. President Business, I believe his name is. Now in these cabanas, there are two. You might notice they're being guarded by some serious looking fellows, and that is because the gentleman in the white suit, that's your mob boss, and his significant other in the cabana, and they're in charge. This is their hotel. You've got a DJ spinning records. You've got an ice cream stand here in the hot Vegas weather. You've got a pool that another Batman is enjoying with his bat floaty. You've got reclining chairs for everyone to sit out in the sun with these gold leaves providing shade. Around the back, you can see the elevator. Also the collection of records that the DJ is using. Again, using the white and pearl gold to create the floor pattern up here with circular 1x1 and 2x2 tiles. And then at the top, we have a couple of, I'm calling them Roman guards, but honestly, they look like they're out of Lord of the Rings. And that is the fourth and final floor of the VIDI Vegas casino. If you asked me how many pieces went into this, I have no idea. I worked on this for about 8 months. And here's some last shots of the exteriors so you can get the whole exterior on each side. Again, each one was built separately to be individual, so that's why they're not matching in terms of their columns, or even their height is slightly different based on what I needed for each level. So that's it. Thanks for checking out my LEGO MOC for my Las Vegas casino. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and I have pictures on Flickr for more of my MOCs. Thanks! Make sure to like and subscribe.